So our development cycle is essentially an 11-month cycle now. And what we try to do to set it is look at the amount of time we need to engage customers in feedback and real-world testing after the alpha. And based on our experience, we know what levels, or the amount of time we need to begin to converge the quality essentially. So we look at the amount of projects goes into it, the amount of development resources available, and we set the times based on that in order to meet very specific quality goals for each and every release. So it's really weighted on that. We're fairly systematic about it. Austin and Graham Ray really spend a lot of time looking at this to making sure that time is effective and right. But in the end, when the metrics are not achieved, the quality metrics and the goals are not achieved, the next step doesn't happen. So sometimes the plan times actually get extended because we need more time to converge the quality.
So is it that functionality gets cut from a release because it doesn't meet the quality criteria, or do you extend the release until the quality criteria are met?
Yes and yes, to be honest. Sometimes, more importantly, if we have functionality, it may impact existing functionality. Every user knows this. Our goal is to not do that. However, sometimes those are the things that maybe delay that cycle because we're really trying to converge them.
Okay. Right. Yeah, that's a good answer. Okay, how do you decide at what level to write the software for? I'm not sure I'm saying that right, but
I understand.
How do you split the distribution between beginner and advanced users?
It's not an exact science, quite frankly. One of the things we look to do is make sure our investments are serving what we call in two simple buckets. We're getting new people productive and then increasing and making a more rich tool set. And I think we do a good job of balancing that. I think, we try to, when we create interfaces and do things, hit 80% of the mark, if you will, because we cannot, unfortunately, you just can't fundamentally please everyone. I think what we try to appeal is put tools forward in an easy fashion, and then try to, for the advanced user, provide additional capabilities that maybe are not for maybe the 80%, but make them available through options and maybe, as you've seen in the past, more information and more access things.
Like the fill it command is very easy to use, but at the same time has very advanced options.
That's a great example. It's actually a scary, to be honest, looking at that tool, just to be very honest, is a scary command because there's all the different kinds. There's the automation tools. There's some of the changing capabilities that we added in the previous releases. But what we wanted to do is say, all right, for the person who wants to get productive, and use the tool right away, Matt, is really, here's the tool to make the simple forward. And then after that, as they become more comfortable and more experienced users, you can get into setback options, things like that, doing face plans, all the different capabilities that come with time. Yeah. We try to take an approach like that. We don't always hit it on the mark. But that's what we try to do, and that's our goal.
How does the information from the definition of new features make its way into the help documentation?
Good question. So the process in which we work to do is the product definition team who generates the specs based on the need and the development team meet and work and go through each project with the documentation team, the team that's under Jim Wilkinson's organization. They try to sit down, review the spec, get a demonstration at this time from the developer and the PD person with the documentation person of all the functionality, and then that is turned into the help file essentially. One of the challenges is sometimes that documentation starts usually around the alpha process once we start doing things. And as we go through that process, sometimes there's changes, so we're always trying to make sure that that's up to date before we actually go to localization.
Right.
Because we have 12 languages outside of English that we localize in.
Yeah, you don't want to have to change that.
We try not to. We obviously do change it quite often, but just like in the engineering process, the more we can get right up front, the better deliverable will be as we go through those secondary and tertiary actions.
Good.
So.